The Sheldon Theatre Brass Band is based on the 180-year-old British brass band tradition. Founded in 1989 as the resident performing ensemble at the Sheldon Theatre in Red Wing, Minnesota, the Sheldon Theatre Brass Band was Minnesota's first modern British brass band. At the beginning of the brass band movement, companies often sponsored bands for the enjoyment and participation of their employees, and townspeople formed bands for municipal recreation and entertainment. Like their predecessors, today's brass bands are mainstays of community music, drawing their personnel from all walks of life and performing everywhere from concert halls to outdoor stages underneath bridges. Unlike their predecessors, today's brass bands play fun and inspiring music at all skill levels on improved instruments that allow the best possible rendition of the music.
So interestingly enough, none of us were cornet players. We all were trumpet players. So we borrowed and stole and whatever we could to come up with cornets. I think I bought mine for $50 at the garage sales. But later on, I think after early 1990s, we received a set of cornets from the Getson Company, and we played those for quite a number of years. Members that come in and sub, and there are a few people that still play on those ones yet.
The repertoire for British brass bands starts with a lot of great marches by composers that we're not too familiar with here in the United States.
Brass band instrumentation uses a variety of conical bore instruments plus trombones and percussion. These instruments produce a sweetly blended sound unique to the genre, a sound decidedly different from concert bands, drum and bugle corps, and marching bands. Here on stage at the Sheldon Theatre, we see the E-flat soprano cornet, B-flat cornets, flugelhorn, E-flat tenor horns, B-flat baritone horns, tenor trombones, bass trombone, euphoniums, E-flat tubas, B-flat tubas, percussionists, and of course, the director. British brass bands are all about the same size. It takes 25 players to cover all the brass parts, and in competition, the North American Brass Band Association limits bands to 28 brass players and 5 percussionists.
And like American-style bands, we play a lot of transcriptions of Greek classical overtures. There's a lot of religious-style music written mostly by and for Salvation Army brass bands and composers. And probably most important, we have some test pieces written for all the major brass band contests that go on in Europe by some of the great composers of the 20th century, names like Holst, and Vaughan Williams, and Elgar, to name but a few. Now, modern brass band music includes a lot of original music written by guys like Philip Spark, Peter Graham, and includes a lot of jazz transcriptions and popular show tunes as well. So it's a great variety of music that we get to play in brass bands.
The tenor horn is pitched in E-flat, fifth below the cornets. It's unusual in the U.S. for people to start on the tenor horn. We either come from the euphonium section or the horn section as usual, and we get some cornet players.
The 9 B-flat cornets in the brass band are the primary high voices for this group. It's only occasionally that we'll use a trumpet, and that's mainly for solos.
And the soprano E-flat cornet, pitched a fourth above the B-flat cornet, plays the highest notes in the brass band. Also, as the highest voice, it's one of the primary soloists in the band.
Hi, my name is Stan Mars, and I am a principal percussionist with the Sheldon Theater Brass Band.
So in a brass band, you'll find several different types of instruments, everything from timpani, concert bass drum, snare drums, tom-toms, all the battery equipment you typically find in a concert band setting, mallet instruments, and as well as drum set. One of the other very interesting and difficult parts about being a brass band percussionist is that they'll often write 6 parts narrowed down into 3 different people, so you're literally twice as busy trying to cover all the parts that normally a section of 6 would cover in a concert band.
Each brass band has a flugelhorn. It plays like a cornet but has a mellower sound.
The baritone horn is pitched the same as the trombones and the euphonium. However, because the baritone horn is more cylindrical in its bore, its tone quality is somewhat in between the trombone and the euphonium. In the modern brass band, there are 2 baritone horn parts and 2 euphoniums.
Since 1989, the Sheldon Theater Brass Band has been entertaining audiences in Red Wing's renovated TB Sheldon Theater and throughout the upper Midwest. The British brass band tradition is alive and well in Red Wing, Minnesota. In 2009, the Sheldon Theater Brass Band celebrates its 20 years of making fine music. We hope you'll join us for one of our upcoming concerts. You can find our concert schedule and more information about the Sheldon Theater Brass Band on our website at www.stbb.org.